rotator cuff surgery, here are the 5 things that I'm going to recommend that you can do to help avoid having rotator cuff surgery. My name is Huang Chan. I'm an occupational therapist and certified hand therapist, and I help people avoid having rotator cuff surgery and get rid of their pain. So here are the 5 things I'm going to recommend. Majority of the time you need to get your full motion back. So sometimes people were like, well, I can move all the way, but this is not the only direction that you move. And here's the other thing, a lot of times people do this and because it like bothers, or it feels like, oh, after I do it, it alleviates. But what you do here is that you end up rubbing these bones together and actually can make your problem much worse. So one of the things that I recommend to do is really stretch your arm so that you can get full range of motion. One way to do it is actually on the wall. So you're gonna come, so I like to use the wall because then you can't cheat. Here, let me go over here. So you can't really cheat. So whichever arm you're exercising, you're gonna you're going to use alternating feet. So if I'm working on my right side, I'm gonna have my left foot forward, right? So let's pretend I'm working on my left shoulder so you can see it, and I'll have my right foot forward. So you have your hands up to the wall, and you're gonna just slide it all the way up, and then lean into the wall. Lean into the wall. And the reason why you lean, what I say is get your armpit to the wall. And it's because it's gonna help you really stretch out all the muscles and the tendons. You wanna do it without any pain. So that's number 1. Number 2 is you want to make sure that you get the rotation of your shoulder. And one of the best ways that you wanna do it is right here. So hands clasped behind your neck, and you want to be able to reach there, right? So you want to put your hands, clasp them behind if possible, and you can stretch your elbows out. When you stretch your elbows out, try to squeeze your shoulder blades together. I'll show you right here. Try to squeeze your shoulder blades together, right? And that can be a really nice stretch. The third stretch to essentially get all your motion is to get what's called internal rotation. And that's clasp your hands behind your back, right? Clasp your hands behind your back and stand up nice and tall. So this is probably the hardest movement. And one of the things that I see people do, I call it the tuck and roll. Because what they do is they tuck and they roll, and then they get their hands back here. It's like the only way they do it. So then they have to stand up nice and straight. All right? So if you can do it, try to get your hands so they're in the middle, right? Right in the middle of your butt, all right? And then key thing is you want to be able to bring it all the way up here, and then just naturally let your elbows fall forward, all right? So these are some key ways in which to get the full motion so that the bones don't keep hitting together and keep tearing at that rotator cuff tendon, which is what causes you to need rotator cuff surgery. So we can get ahead of the problem, we can avoid rotator cuff surgery. Right, so those are the 3. And then the last 2 are strengthening exercises. So once you get your motion, then you want to strengthen the muscles so they can keep the motion, right? So one of them is called internal rotation. I use a band. You can come, so the arm that you're exercising is closest to the anchor point. Elbow needs to be at 90 degrees. You're gonna step away from it, and then you're gonna pull into the middle part of your body. A lot of times people come and they're crossing their arms, or they come in and they're like making their elbows straight. You wanna keep your elbows at 90 degrees. You're gonna come in internal rotation, and to do external rotation, you're gonna turn and you're going to pull out. Now, if any of the strengthening exercises are hurting you, then you want to stop. You don't want to strengthen with pain. It actually defeats the purpose, and you might be grinding the bones together, which then could be further damaging the tendons, the rotator cuff tendons. So those are 5 things that I like to recommend if you're trying to avoid having a rotator cuff surgery. Now, all of this saying you want to do it without pain. If you're still experiencing pain, or you're really lacking a lot of motion that allows you to be able to progress on your own, then seek the help of an occupational therapist, certified hand therapist, or a physical therapist that you trust that can help you with your shoulder problems to avoid surgery. My name is Huang Tran. If you are in the Miami area, my clinic, Hands-On Therapy Services, can help you avoid rotator cuff surgery.